Dressed up a suit. Wear a necktie. Spray the perfume. You think this old man is about to go on a date. Not really, he wanted to commit suicide. But at the time he wanted to kick his chair over. Then outside the window resounded noise. The old man was very angry. The neighbors were so new that they drove into the area. Do you have to show the parking space? Was that still damaged his mailbox? There's no other way. The old man just had to drive the car right into the parking space. Finished, waved sleeve. Returned to the room to continue suicide. Just put a rope around his neck. Then the neighbor's children ran to the window. The old man just had to collect the rope to avoid frightening the children. It seems that today is not a good day to die. A man called over. Is the name of this movie. The opening looks sad, but actually it's a very warm human love story, because it has caused a lot of people to lose hope in life. The warm soul. This old man, named Ove, has a tough personality. The first thing to do early in the morning is to patrol the building. He did not let cats roar. Do not let your dog go to the street, but he will pick up the cigarette tip that is scattered on the ground. Wipe the kids' toys in the neighborhood. Reclassify the garbage, then check the parking lot of the whole area. Do not park overtime, and do not rush into the residential area. He used to be the president of the neighborhood association until his wife died. The death of the wife also bring away all of his desire to live. The day, Ove desperately wants to be friends with his wife, but he hopes when he dies he can show up a little. That's why he wore a suit, sprayed perfume. He left his wife's photo out the window. Wait a moment, I will come to you soon. Unfortunately, his wife's plans to reunite with his wife were interrupted by a neighbor. Tomorrow, he decided to pull the curtains back, then put the rope around his neck again. Who knows, the doorbell rang again, still resounding non-stop. He opened the door indignantly as he wanted to open his mouth to curse. Bowed to see the children. Mr. Ove is very annoyed. The new neighbor wants to borrow him a ladder. The old lady at the side also came to ask him to fix the plumbing. At home, Ove looked at his wife's photo and laughed. Between life and death there seems to be a door. His wife on the other side smiled at him, and Ove on this side knocked on the door. This time, no one can stop him from coming to his wife. Before he died, his life began to pass one last time. When he was a child, he lost his mother. He and his father depended on each other to live. After that, even his father left him and went. It was a godsend. The only thing that contains memories is the house. Also, a fire accidentally burned. Oh, this is like a rootless hyacinth that has been drifting everywhere. He got on a train with no end point. Also, do not want to ask where he is. Don't care about wind and waves. Until one day, Ove woke up. A pair of red high heels caught the eye. Makes Ove's life in black and white bright. And she was the wife he loved the most, Sonia. But now those memories are like the magic of time. The feeling of love is not long back. Then the rope broke. Ove once again failed to kill himself. Ove was still immersed in memories, feeling very angry. He went to the store to complain to the staff about the quality of the rope. Then he changed to another way to continue suicide. He grabbed the air vent into the trunk of the car. Then close all windows and start booting. You just let out a breath, looking back at yourself in the mirror. People can die, head can fall, but clothes cannot be disturbed. In melodious music, Zero he slowly closed his eyes, but if not yet recalled. Then the garage sounded again, pounding on the door. New neighbors came to bother Mr. Lai again. Parvana says her husband was not careful to fall and break his leg. She wanted to ask him to take her and the children to the hospital. Ove is about to die, but agrees to take their mother and child away. But when taking Parvana to the hospital, he also had to stay to look after her children to visit her husband. Ove, who has a bad temper, now has to comfort children. He just pretended to be bear sound to tell stories to the children. At this time, Ove did not find out. This is when he was happiest after his wife left. After he got home, Ove left immediately, but he was hugged tightly by two children who were extremely happy. Maybe not dead today, but not too bad. The next day, he thought of another way. Feeling dead on the rails isn't bad either. Ove is still the same, make up carefully. But there are people even faster than him. Just turned to look. I saw that there was no one behind me. I just took out my phone to take pictures. Ove got angry, not bothering to jump down the tracks. He saved the man who fainted, then planned to welcome the oncoming train. Right now, a boy stands on the train station like he did when he was a child. Ove does not want to let the boy's childhood stay haunted. Just had to give up at the last moment. Parvinch brings the picture that her daughter drew. Then point to a human figure with a unique color, saying that he was so adorable in the eyes of her children. Although this woman 7 times in turn broke his plan, but in her annoying annoyance, the man was cold-hearted with his life. Gradually becoming warmer. In the latter days, Ove no longer went home alone. He just mocked the Parvana couple's driving skills, just personally teach them to practice with him. He also adopted a feral cat that he once chased away. Then with it to visit his wife's grave. Then with him, he went to visit his wife's grave, also adopting a young man who has no home to go home. The team that went to the patrol every morning also became more crowded. Young people bring of energy, but also immersed him in the most painful memory. He and his wife used to go on a honeymoon together. The baby in her womb is also extremely active. Ove felt happiness from each time like that. After entering the toilet, I dared to shed tears of happiness, but the whole world fell apart at that moment. An accident took their little baby. Ove's wife also lost 2 legs. But not so that Sonia gave up. On the contrary, she is also the one who cheers for Ove, made him build a wheelchair path himself. Sonia goes down that path and truly becomes a teacher. She really is like an angel coming to earth. Use all remaining energy, made for countless rogue teenagers, become useful people for society. Until 6 months ago, Sonia was diagnosed with cancer. In the end, death took her away. Fortunately, now beside Ove, there is also a cat. Together with 2 bloodless children who still call him grandfather, and Parvana is like his daughter. Pregnant again, Ove is like having another grandchild. He awkwardly hugged the baby, like holding a small son in your lap. If Sonia was the one who gave color to his black and white world. Until today, the neighbors have completed a picture of his life. They are the ones who make the end of Ove's life a warm color. He still goes to his wife's grave to visit her, to relive the past, also to cherish the present much. After a great snowfall outside of the gold was silent. Ove no longer went out to sweep the snow as usual. Parvana immediately ran over to his house. Ove's cat is protecting his long sleep. In the end, Ove got his will, just not by suicide. It is a peaceful and secure sleep. Because before you left, he made up with this world. In the church, Ove used to take his parents alone. Until today, the whole house came here to say goodbye to him. Like someone once said, there is no wound that cannot be healed, nor is there any suffering that doesn't end. All losses will use a different way of returning. Finish watching this deeply gentle film. We got to know a friend named Ove. Although he said goodbye to life, he did not take it for granted, because the day he wanted to die failed. He was like being born again. He begins to live, and is responsible for it. Humans will get old. Each one will also come to say goodbye to life. That man's greatest fear of death. Actually, it is after they leave us, leaving the survivor to spend remaining time alone.